Ian Laperriere was born in Montreal, Quebec in 1974. Ice rinks were plentiful in his hometown, and little Ian made the most of it. He was clearly a gifted skater with unlimited potential right from the start.
I remember skating on the pound, how good Lappy was. He was a great skater, great hands. I remember seeing him be tough also, you know, skating in front of everybody. Everybody was falling down. He was looking like Mario at the time, so it was a good skating with Lappy. It was a real honor.
I was childhood buddies with Lappy. You know, we grew up in the same little small town. We had, you know, we were like brothers with different mothers, you know. But he used to skate around the rink all the time, and the frozen pond out in the back, you know, with all of his friends. So it was just me and him. And he had unbelievable skater. He could shoot both ways. You know, he had everything except he couldn't see very well.
He was a small kid, frail. You know, didn't like the, you know, confrontations too much. And I kind of took him under my wing, and you know, he sort of started to develop after that. His skill came around, his confidence, and mine kind of depleted. I didn't know. It was like he was sucking me dry, and he just ran with it. It was unbelievable, and it was amazing to see. At one point in time, he just took off from there. He left the town. You know, he went and played his juniors, and you know, I haven't heard from him since.
Ian fell in love with ice hockey immediately, and his career took off. He simply was on a mission to make it to the National Hockey League. Ian's minor league coach, Mark Hardy.
Well, I was coaching Lappy back in junior, and you know, you could see the skill level that he was going to the NHL. Like Eric Belanger said earlier, he's like Mario Lemieux out there, but he was a tough Mario Lemieux. I can remember a lot of times, you know, he'd come back to the bench, and you know, you'd go, "Hey, Lappy, you know, try and stay out high in the slot," and he'd give you that. He'd give you that look, and it was like, well, what do you mean? You know, why should I be high in the slot? And then he'd go back on the ice, he'd be high in the slot, maybe the puck would go in the corner, and he wouldn't go and get the puck. I'd say, "Lappy, why didn't you go and get it?" "Well, you told me to be high in the slot." And he'd give you that look again.
The big break for Ian happened in 1994 when he made his NHL debut with the St. Louis Blues. Everything seemed to be going perfectly for Ian. He had finally achieved his lifelong dream. And then, out of nowhere, it all came crashing down. Ian fell out of favor with hard-nosed St. Louis coach Mike Keenan. Ian suddenly found himself shipped off to New York, and possibly out of hockey for good. Childhood friend, Eric Belanger.
I remember when Lappy wanted to quit hockey. He wanted to get together for lunch, and he looked really down on himself, and I felt bad for him. I cried for 5 minutes when I saw him, so I felt really bad for him.
I remember when Lappy called me that day. He had, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. He was playing unbelievable. I remember he got his first start in St. Louis, had, you know, over 10 points in maybe 12 games, and moved on to the Rangers, and then it just started depleting him. He was fighting, you know, he was playing strong, playing down in the corners, and he looked like he was going to be a legend. And all of a sudden he calls me, he says, "Brian, all my strength's left me. I don't know what to do." And it's funny because the next game I went and played, I had a hat trick. You know, the guy calls me, I don't know how many years later, he takes all my strength, leaves, goes plays in the NHL. I finally made it, gives me my strength back, and he wants to talk to me. I didn't understand it.
Well, when I got traded to New York, I didn't know what to do. I mean, I was very depressed, very down. My family tried to help me. I didn't know what to do.
Coming up, troubled times lie ahead for Ian Laperriere.
I'm sorry. That was tough. I mean, you work all your life to be a hockey player, and all of a sudden, that one phone call, they say you just got traded.
With his hockey career in serious jeopardy, Ian Laperriere began searching desperately to find himself again. It was at that time he decided for drastic measures. A career change from hockey to acting.
Marsha did it again. Marsha, Marsha, Marsha.
Ian's uncanny knack for impersonations earned him fill-in roles as both Jan and Bobby on the Brady Bunch. Finally, Ian's big break occurred when he grabbed the lead fill-in role with several outstanding stints as the lovable Mr. Brady. The sky seemed the limit for Ian as his rise to fame continued with numerous cameo appearances in the mega-hit sitcom Friends. Executive television producer Lance Diggler.
I worked with Pitt, Cruz, Schwarzenegger, Gary Coleman, all the greats. Been around for a while. True talents. But never have I seen such talents as Ian Laperriere. When he walked through my door that day, I knew he had something golden. He took off, shining star. But just as quick as he took off, fame and money messes with a man's mind. Took him for a downward spiral. Never have I seen somebody self-destruct so quickly as Ian Laperriere. Awful. What a shame.
As a result, his acting career was very short-lived. The bright lights and massive Hollywood networks never came calling. Ian was in the midst of a downward spiral. With no career to fall back on, he decided to travel to Spain and run with the Bulls.
Ian was horrible when he ran with the Bulls, man. He endangered other people. He was running all over the place. He didn't know what he was doing. He was horrible.
After failing miserably in his latest endeavor, Ian headed back to the States to begin a new career, this time in cooking.
Please give it up for Monsieur Ian Laperriere.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, thank you.
One day I'm sitting around and, I get this phone call. And, I'm a huge star. And he was looking to hook up with somebody that was connected, dialed in to what's going on in Hollywood and everything. And, I'd always heard also that he wanted to get into cooking, so he pitched me with this idea of a cooking show. And at first I said, I don't think so. But then all of a sudden, it dawned on me. Lappy, let's go cooking.
Unfortunately for the Montreal native, his unique style of chef making did not go over well in Hollywood. Specializing in heavy, high cholesterol, meaty ingredients, Ian was booed out of kitchens across America. He was on the brink of exhaustion. Not knowing what to do next, Ian shocked family and friends when he announced his signing with an underwater hockey league. Former teammate, Stu Lejeune.
We were so psyched when Ian joined our team. He brought so much to the squad. Leadership, grit, communication, toughness. Started developing some bad habits though. In other sports, you celebrate, pat the guy in the rear end. In our sport, you don't do that. We wear Speedos. Ian kept doing it. Frankly, bothered some of the guys on the team. We went on a long losing streak. Had no choice. Had to let Ian go.
With seemingly no end in sight to his unfortunate demise, Ian finally took a long, hard look in the mirror and did what came natural. He laced up his skates, dropped his gloves, and scored some goals.
Score! Ian Laperriere tips it in.
It's been a long, twisting journey for Ian Laperriere. He still has regrettable moments, such as the time he struck an overwhelmed Fox Sports announcer during a live interview. Ian Laperriere's character no doubt has been tested, and the Frenchman's emotional comeback is something no one will soon forget.
Went and did his thing. I don't know what, a lot of soul searching. I think he went back to his native Quebecois. Did what he had to do, and I'm glad to see him back because we made up, and he's a good buddy of mine.
I'm really happy for Lappy right now. It's been a roller coaster for him over years, and right now he's just one of the top players in the league and for the Kings, and He's just a great guy, and I'm happy to see him playing that well right now.
Thank God they came out with graphite sticks, because he couldn't shoot with those wooden ones whatsoever. But as soon as the graphite sticks came on the scene, Lappy's shot came up about 25 miles per hour, and you know, he is really hammering him into the glass a lot harder than he used to.
I remember the old days, playing in St. Louis, New York, and then the bottom just dropping out. And the late night phone calls, the long walks on the beach together, trying to get things back together, and then just to see him back on top. I mean, just to be there and embrace him and realize that he's back.
I'm glad that he's doing all right now. He's cool, because I remember when he ran with the Bulls, man, he was horrible, but now he got over it. He's doing better now.
I went from up, down, and now I'm in LA playing great hockey. I mean, can't ask more from me right now. I mean, I'm on the top of my game, and hey, when you look back, you know, you just don't want to look back. It's the past. You just want to look forward. Good now, just want to be great.